The Broken Clock and the Blame Game, a Judge Judy story. It all started with a clock. Not just any clock, it was a sentimental piece. One that had ticked quietly through years of memories, keeping time for a woman named Ms. Gender. She had bought it years ago in Germany, and although it wasn't worth a fortune in dollars, its emotional value was priceless to her. It was one of those timeless heirlooms that connected her to the past, something she loved, cared for, and proudly displayed in her home. But one day, that same clock would become the reason she found herself standing in front of the sharp, no-nonsense Judge Judy Sheindlin. The story began simply enough. Ms. Gender was in a relationship with a man named Mr. Buckley. During their time together, Mr. Buckley, who had an interest in clocks and claimed to understand their inner workings, noticed something odd about Ms. Gender's cherished clock. He told her, "Something doesn't sound right. Let me take a look at it." Now, according to Ms. Gender, there was absolutely nothing wrong with the clock. It was working perfectly fine. But trusting him, as people often do when they're in love, she let him take it home to check it out. That decision would later turn into one of the biggest regrets of her life. Mr. Buckley took the clock home, packed it up carefully, at least that's what he said, and transported it by car. It wasn't a long trip, but it would eventually lead to months of frustration, accusations, and a bitter breakup. Time ticked on, and then their relationship fell apart. Ms. Gender wanted her clock back. Mr. Buckley agreed to return it, and he decided to send it via UPS. When the package finally arrived, Ms. Gender opened the box with anticipation, but what she found inside left her heart sinking. The clock looked fine on the outside, but when she tried to make it tick again, it wouldn't. The mechanisms inside were broken. Now, to understand this case, you need to understand how Judge Judy thinks. She doesn't deal in emotions or sentimental values. She deals in facts, evidence, and responsibility. So when Ms. Gender brought her case before Judge Judy, she came armed with photographs, repair receipts, and a firm belief that Mr. Buckley had destroyed her precious clock through carelessness. She told the judge that when Mr. Buckley shipped the clock back, he didn't use enough packing material. The delicate chimes inside had shifted, causing internal damage. She had taken it to a professional clock repair shop, and the repairman confirmed that the damage was internal, the kind that happens when something isn't properly cushioned during shipping. But Mr. Buckley wasn't about to take the blame. Calm and composed, he insisted he wasn't responsible for the damage. He told Judge Judy that he had returned the clock in the same box Ms. Gender had originally given him, the original box from Germany. He even said he'd insured the package through UPS for $1,000. According to him, he did everything right. He had no intention to harm the clock, and he couldn't be held accountable for what happened once it left his hands. Judge Judy listened carefully, her sharp eyes scanning both the photographs and the faces before her. "I'd like to see the pictures," she said. Ms. Gender handed over the photographs showing the clock, tall, elegant, and seemingly unharmed on the outside. "Well," Judge Judy said after a moment, "I don't see any external damage. It looks like a clock." Ms. Gender sighed, her frustration bubbling up. "It's the inside that's broken, Your Honor. The chimes weren't packed correctly. The mechanisms shifted during shipping. It's all internal." But Judge Judy wasn't convinced. "He's not responsible," she said flatly. Ms. Gender blinked in disbelief. "I'm sorry?" "He's not responsible," Judge Judy repeated. "If this clock had come to you in pieces, smashed, broken, destroyed, then I might agree with you. That would have meant he was grossly negligent or intentionally destructive. But it didn't. The clock looks fine. The damage you're describing sounds like something that could have happened even with careful packing. Unless you told him to insure it, and he didn't, he's not liable." At this point, Ms. Gender tried to argue back. "I did tell him. I asked him to insure it for $1,000. I even told him to make sure it was packed so it didn't move." Judge Judy raised a hand to stop her. "Do you have proof?" "Yes, Your Honor," Ms. Gender said, pulling out a slip of paper. "Here, this is from the UPS store. It says the clock was insured for $1,000. Judge Judy turned her attention to Mr. Buckley. "Did you insure the clock?" "Yes, Your Honor, I did," he said confidently. "So," Judge Judy continued, "what happened?" "They denied the claim," Mr. Buckley replied. The room went quiet. Judge Judy looked unimpressed. "They denied it?" "Yes, Your Honor, UPS denied it. They said I signed a liability waiver stating that I didn't pack it properly. Judge Judy's eyebrows shot up. You signed a waiver saying that? Yes, Your Honor, he admitted. That was the turning point, but not in the way Ms. Gender hoped. Instead of turning her anger toward Mr. Buckley, Judge Judy redirected it elsewhere. Then go sue UPS, she said. He's not responsible. He got the insurance, they took the money, and now they're refusing to pay. That's not his fault. That's theirs. Ms. Gender tried again, desperate for fairness. But he admitted that he didn't pack it right. Judge Judy didn't budge. He's not responsible, she repeated. You want justice? Sue UPS. They took your money for insurance and then refused to honor the claim. That's where your problem is. The courtroom fell silent for a moment before Judge Judy gave her signature closing line. He's not responsible. Goodbye. Bird, the court officer, looked at both parties and said, Parties are excused. You may step out. As they left the courtroom, Ms. Gender's face said it all, a mix of frustration and disbelief. She had come seeking justice, hoping that Judge Judy would make her ex-boyfriend pay for what she saw as carelessness. Instead, she left with the realization that sometimes, even when you feel wronged, the law doesn't always agree with your version of fairness. This case was a classic Judge Judy moment, firm, logical, and grounded in the principle that responsibility has limits. It wasn't about feelings or heartbreak. It was about evidence and accountability. Mr. Buckley didn't intentionally damage the clock, and he did what he thought was right, shipping it back in its original box and purchasing insurance. The problem lay not with him, but with a corporate system that took payment for protection and then conveniently found a way out when something went wrong. For Ms. Gender, it was a painful lesson. Trusting someone with something you love doesn't always end well. For Mr. Buckley, it was a relief, but also a reminder that even when you do the right thing, you might still find yourself in court defending your actions. And for the viewers watching at home, it was pure Judge Judy. Sharp, witty, and brutally fair. As Judge Judy often says, don't try to make me feel sorry for you. That's not what I do here. She deals in facts, not feelings. And in this case, the fact was simple. The clock might have been broken, but Mr. Buckley wasn't the one to blame. In the end, time moved on, as it always does. The clock might never tick the same again, but the lesson would echo loud and clear. In Judge Judy's courtroom, emotion doesn't win cases. Evidence does.